It's Wednesday, and if it's Wednesday and we're talking about his relationship, then you know Odada Okello is in the building looking fire. Hi, Odada.
Hi, how are you?
Hey!
You're looking good yourself.
Asante, heri uniambie kwa sababu hey.
Tumejaribu.
Sana. Hata mjaribu, mna thrive. Thrive.
Good.
Always lovely to have you in the show.
It's a pleasure to have me here.
Because the conversation ya leo ni very... We try to touch on it na lawyer wetu advocate of the High Court, Mr. Odanga. But I don't know. So the conversation is around men fearing, or some men fearing to date single mothers, and what that is about. What is it that they fear? What is it about that this situation is not as easy? Considering Mr. Odanga amesema they're responsible, they'll take care of you, and men will be like, me, I want a woman who is in charge, who is responsible, accountable, and who best than a mother, a single mother who anajua school fees, chakula, house help, rent, lakini bado kuna shida.
First of all, let me start by not assuming that all of our viewers know what a single mom is.
Okay.
Simply, a single mother is a woman who has kids or children, a kid or children that are dependent on her. So the question is, why would men refuse or eventually marry a single mother? And apart from many glaring reasons why,
yes,
to as men avoid dating single mothers like a plague, the obvious being responsibilities and drama.
Yes.
If you ask me, I'll say there's only one reason why men refuse to date single mothers. And the reason is there is no much, or there's very little that men can get out of this arrangement.
What do you mean? First of all, it's not like you're getting into a relationship with just my child or the responsibility that comes with my child. You're getting into a relationship with me because you love me, you care about me, and ng'ombe na mkanda wake.
You see, sadly, women refuse to understand this simple truth. And
I am trying really hard.
Yes, and they want to get the perspective of a man towards why they wouldn't date a single mother. And the many draws back and explain to them in detail why, as to, you wouldn't date us.
Please indulge me. Indulge me.
I would go with the first question. You see, men ask this question whether consciously or not, or unconsciously. The first question is why is, and the other one is what if. So the first question is, why is she in the first place a single mother? And if they can answer this question, they would go to the first step of starting to date you. Number one is, if you're looking for a woman to marry, you want to know if she has children, what's the reason why she is single.
Not married.
Because the setup and the way it is, even if you study the Bible, marriage is between a man and a virgin. A man, I'm not saying a virgin man, a man and a virgin. If you read from Genesis to Revelation, marriage has always been a man and a virgin. If you go to the Middle East, it's still practiced up to today, where parents sit outside the house to find out, is she really a virgin? So by the fact that you're coming with kids in, they want to understand, are you divorced, or it's an early demise of your husband that has caused you to be single? Or you're just rather promiscuous or toxic, bitter, and make bad decisions. If that is settled, because a demise of a husband, early demise of a husband, people carry you with a lot of comfort, and they think gentlemen will date you for that. But let me go to the second.
Yawa.
Second.
I have points niko tu hivi nataka kukuambia niko tu.
No problem.
Ninaziandika mahali.
You write them, you ask them. But the major reason is, what if The reason why. You're talking about why men refuse dating single mothers. And the first question that a man asks himself is, what if? What if she still loves the baby daddy? What if they're still friends with benefit? What if the kid won't like me? What if I spend all the time and my resources raising this child, and this child baadaye kuja nitupie mkono? Let me give you an example of Tupac Shakur. Tupac, in his song Dear Mama, he said, no love from my daddy, for the coward wasn't there. He passed away and I didn't cry because my anger wouldn't let me feel for a stranger. They say I'm long and heartless, but I was looking for a dad. He was gone. Tupac was raised by someone.
Pastor umeimba wimbo ya Tupac yote.
We grew up listening to Tupac.
That is true. That is true.
Somebody raised Tupac. Men are usually coming in and out of single mothers' homes, per se. But he doesn't speak about, in this song, he doesn't speak about the dad that raised him. He speaks about the dad that went. So it's always a grain factor in a child's mind. Even if you're growing with a stepdad, where see babangu? And you see, a man is thinking of, what if this child doesn't like me? Or if I raise this child, immediately becomes something. The other man shows up. Like when Tupac died, there was just a guy who showed up. Damu ni mzito kuliko maji, mother. Do DNA, umtoya alikuwa ni wangu. You know. And the other reason is also, what if he doesn't like my kids? Because that child also growing up knows wesi babangu and knows our sidamu zangu, you know. So these what if questions are very much. And again also, what if he goes back to the ex-husband or the ex-boyfriend? You will know, any man will tell you, there's a lot of insecurity of being with a woman whom you know already have a bond. Not only a bond that is not seen, a bond that is seen, because children born parents with another man. Immediately you have this sort of a split up. There's a high possibility that she would go back to.
So it would be easier. We would be treating a widow better than how we'd treat a single mother.
Yes, this it's
husband is still.
Yes.
Baby daddy is still.
Yeah. Let me say like this: there's stigma that comes by single mothers, and there's enormous hate from the society for single moms.
That should end.
It should end, but
it
you
should.
See, it's just that the way.
Because the reason probably most of these women are single, and that's not the conversation today.
Yes.
That's not the conversation today,
yes.
though. But the reason probably these men are single is because these women are single is because the men in their lives then did not want to take responsibility.
Absolutely, but the society
true.
looks at it as the woman's fault.
How is it my fault that you do not want to take care of a child?
Exactly. Once that's why I told you the question is why. The first question that a man has to answer
is why.
Why
so depending on the answer.
On the answer, simply they look at you as number one, loose, promiscuous, or just unhallowed. You see, if that is settled, then you are in a good place.
Okay.
But you see, immediately, this is also one of the questions that the ladies don't even want to answer themselves. You don't go out there telling people, "Mimi niko single kwa sababu mse wangu alidai." It's the person who wants to get to you. But you can imagine how general people are talking about you. That's why they usually tell people, wait until you get married. You'd rather be divorced or your husband dies to be a single mom. Because otherwise, besides that, they just see you as somebody who is very toxic. Kwendo lifanya kaenda.
That's so wrong, Bana. Like, we should, I think as much as we're having this conversation of understanding what goes on in the minds of men, and probably even society, because it's not just a man thing.
Yes.
It is also familia yako inakwambia. Inakwambia usifanye, ama uko sure, unataka. So sometimes it's not just the man. But then again, we live in a society where these things happen. It's the man that's causing you to be a single mother. And we can't ignore that.
Absolutely. So they it's based on, basically, you see, the Bible says women supposed to submit to their husband.
Yes.
And
If they're
submission,
loved.
yes, if they're loved. But you see, it's submit first. So you choose who to submit to. So it's actually a woman's responsibility to decide who to be with.
And that's okay.
You see them coming in sagging trousers.
Yes.
You see them coming with all kind of haircuts.
Yes.
And you decide, huyu anasaga, kama huyu mlevi ndo mimi napenda.
That's okay. That's okay. So you decide.
Yes.
But then as I decide to be with you,
Yes.
then you also decide to be responsible.
Yes.
You cannot decide that I went to a master class of raising a child by myself. Na wewe haukupitia hiyo master class, ni kama hakuna master class. We learn as we go.
Yes.
But see how fired up I'm becoming. So we're going to take a very short commercial break, but I'm just going to throw it to you out there. What are some of the reasons that you think men are really, really scared of dating single mothers? Have you been in a situation, are you a single mother? Is it difficult for you to date, to find the one, to get married again? Are you going through that? Are you a man? Were you hurt by, dating a single mother? Let us share those stories and questions as well when we come back. I will try as much as possible not to interrupt Odada. But don't go too far. We'll be right back with this conversation. We are trying as much as possible not to get into each other's throats over here, but I want to hear from you guys. The issue of being a single mother and men fearing to date. That is the story. But then this story cannot go straight. Tumeshaeka vitu zingine huku, especially mimi. And I feel like you need to be a part of this conversation. So 111 444 111, send in your comments, opinions, questions about this, dating a single mother, if you're a single mother and if you've gone through this. And social media, Switch TV Kenya on Instagram, Switch TV Kenya on Facebook. Back to you, Odada.
All right, let's continue then.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you guys straight up.
Yes.
In our society today, single parenting is something that is being practiced all over the world.
That is true.
And even children, men who grew up or were raised by single mothers. Some single mothers are doing exactly what I could say a really good job. But some really mess up in terms of if this young man who's being brought up by a single mom was not treated nicely by the men who came in and out of the home,
Yes.
or he was mistreated by the stepdad, or he felt like the other children were being taken better than him, what happens is this child, for fear not repeating that, will not consider a single mother. They don't want to relive what they lived. So that's one like something that removes men from eyeing a single mother. The other one is options, preference. Women say only good men that will date a single man, but there are also good men who have been brought up morally upright, but still they have preference not to. Yes. So somebody told me you should try frog meat. It tastes like chicken.
Yeah.
I mean, if there is chicken, give me chicken.
Yeah.
Yes,
please.
So there is an enormous drawbacks that come in with dating a single mother vis-a-vis dating a woman who is single and with no kids. So preference is another thing. The other thing is drama. The drama that comes with a single mother. We can't even start mentioning them. There are women who have disgruntled exes who will just go out of the way to make sure that you will never have a comfortable life with your significant other that has come to wherever. They failed, they left, but now you're trying to settle. And so long as they have something that belongs legally to them, I want to see my child. Kuna mtu wangu mazi. So there is always going to be that disturbance. Kuna mtu amegonga kwa mlango. Nitie Natalie. Ni nani ni baba. You cannot refuse the dad to see the child. apart from that, also there is responsibility that comes with parenting. Um, uh, Kujilea kwanza ni shida.
That's
so you
true.
can imagine bringing somebody who you are going to be a provider to them
And their children.
and their children.
You need to be very clear.
You have to be very clear, and you have to pay the bills. You know,
Yeah.
for responsibility. You see, for a single woman, single mother, her love language is foot the bill for my child. Take full responsibility. In fact, if you take full responsibility of a single mom child, hiyo ni kama kumwambia I love you and I love you very much.
That's true. They remove themselves from the
They
situation.
remove themselves.
Kabisa. It's about the child.
Kama utanipenda penda kwanza wewe.
Na nataka kuona yake kwanza.
Yes.
Because I need to be sure.
Yeah.
Because they're very protective over their kids as well.
And with the economic downturn and the situation in the country as it is, it's very hard for a man actually to get with a single mother. Forgetting about the other thing that we don't talk about. Even single moms don't advise their children to get with single moms. They tell you, mazee vile nateseka na wewe. Wataka kuchukua mwingine ukae naye uanze kumfeed, wewe kwanza kazi gani unafanya? You see, even relatives, even people around that, especially nowadays, even they look at the sex of the child. If it's a girl, they're like, ataolewa aende. But if it's a boy, they're like, kakata grow up hivi kaza kudai mali hapa na and it's not our.
And it's true.
Yeah.
These conversations,
Yes.
we're not loud about them,
Ye-
but it's one of those things they will look at. What child do you have as a single mother? If it's a daughter, it's the same thing that you've said. If it's a boy, watasema tu vitu kama hizo.
Yes, and then again, a young man who wants to get married doesn't want to be an instant dad. And now you have to discipline a child that is
That
not.
is a tricky
Yes,
situation.
you have to discipline a child that is not your own. And now you have to tell them what to do and not what to do. And if you go over and beyond, the mother will always side with the child. Unampiga hivyo sana kwa sababu si wako. You get. And the child also growing with that mentality later in the life, they will tell you, maze, when they are 16, hata usiniambie wewe si babangu. You're not my dad. Ongea na wale ma step brother zangu na ma sister zangu, hao ndo wako. Mimi achana mimi. So seeing these things play as you grow up, you don't want to put yourself in that position, in that situation. That's why I said the major one reason
Yes.
why men don't want to get with single mothers is because there is a little, very little that you can get out of this sort of arrangement.
Okay. We have some comments and questions.
No problem.
Tuliuliza watutumie.
Yes.
Mwikali, I myself am a single mom. These men, wanajua single moms will always choose their babies
Yes.
over them. Na single moms hawaogopi kuwa single cause wanajua majukumu. I am Naomi from Thika. She's a single mom, so she's just telling us like it is. And I think she actually just concurs with what you were saying. Hi, Mwikali. I'm Mary. My mom got in another relationship with my stepdad when the first one didn't work. Me being the stepdaughter, he has never loved me. He treats me different from her kids. Na pia mimi, I knew kutoka kitambo si baba yangu. So I don't love him at all.
Yeah.
So you grew up in a sort of like a dysfunctional family setup if these things are not handled from the beginning, or you will love my kids, you will treat them this way. If it's not...
Because you see, women who have kids, when they're looking also for partners, they're looking for partners who hatutaongeza watoi. Hawa tuko nao ndo tutawapenda. But you see, as a man, his prerogative in dating is to endeleza his own genes.
Yes.
So he wants to come in and for you to give birth to his own child.
Yes.
And once that comes into the picture, you will always treat your own better than the ones that came with your other half. I'm not saying it's always the case,
Yes,
but it opens doors for many other things. We've heard of stepdad raping their daughter simply because wewe na mama yako, we are not related. You get? So it opened doors for those kind of scenarios. Again, it opened doors for nataka mtoi wangu. Once that baby is in the picture, mtoto mmoja anaenda Brayburn, mwingine anaenda Kirundumo or whatever school it is. And if you ask is, huyu ni wangu, hao ni wako, baba hao asort, especially if that man is still in the picture, showing up like, I want my daughter. So you see two kids, one going to a very posh school and the other one, and it's because the real father, biological dad for this child is cannot afford this other school. So what basically happens is simple. For a woman, if you're going to love me, the love language that I understand is you loving this child.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Mikali. I'm a single mom to a 5-year-old. And to be honest, when I find a man and maybe we go along together, the moment namwambia I have a son, they disappear. At some point, I was wondering what's wrong with me. But then we figured out today the problem is not you.
We call it. I didn't want to go into this, but there is no nicer way of putting this way. Okay. This thing. Maybe sometimes to answer a question, you need to look at why is it any man, good or bad, will date a single mother. And
just ask that again.
Why would any man, good or bad, with all this glaring, why would he date a single mother?
Because they love you genuinely and they really care.
Because if you can answer that, then now you'll understand what kind of men that date single mother. This is my anecdotal experience. Number one reason that any man dates a single mother is simply hump and dump.
But I know people who are married.
I told you
happy.
There are three reasons, and it has to be 1, 2, or 3.
Okay, so 1.
Because Team Mafisi have already judged that women try to hook jamas, both single mothers and whatever. They actually know that if I give myself through routine sex to this guy, ntamushika.
Okay.
So men also know this, and they know single mothers, because they're looking into getting somebody to provide for their kids, that are easy catch. So men actually pursue these women. That's the number one reason. So you, as a single mother, you have to know uchali akwapa kwa sababu gani, because that's the one reason. Number 2 reason is because of a crush, and this is actually the only positive reason why men date single mothers.
That is number 2.
Number 2. Because
so number 3 is worse than number 2.
Number 3 is also very worse. It's bad. It's not worse. It's bad. Number 2 is
a crush.
A crush. You know, you pendered this. It has sentimental value. You pendered her since you growing up, but she was just dating somebody else, and you just keep on liking them. And one of the fine days, you're like, where's Timo? Atuliachana, and because you've always loved this woman, so you will actually marry them to try and save them from this predicament that they found themselves in. Mm-hmm. The other one is a man with morally, emotionally deep-seated issues.
Why would you say that about someone who wants to marry a single mother?
I've seen this, and that's the reason why I'm pointing out. If I've not seen it, I will have not mentioned it. I've seen most of the men that settle with single mothers have one issue.
What is the
or
issue?
The other. And one of them is usually low self-esteem or other emotional deep-seated issues, traumas that they went through when they're... So they are unrelational. They are people that keep themselves... And sometimes also some physical disability, or sometimes they are obese. So they have this mindset that because this woman is giving me attention, there is something that I have. And so they have already drawn themselves off. Nobody can ever like me. They don't even go out looking. So these women are the ones who feel like pity for them and take care of them, and you'll find that this person can be actually financially stable and all that, but they have really serious issues. So they allow this, but you'll see in the long term, again, the same issues that we are talking about, we are going to recur. So women should know 50% dump 50 let's say 45% of these people who are single mothers, who are looking for single mothers, simply, number one, they are in a hump and dump kind of whatever arrangement. The second one is they have deep-seated issues, and the third one, the one that is actually the really positive one, is they have always loved you. In my own experience, I've seen it's something that najua Njoki, namjua, she's a nice girl. I don't care what this guy did and left. I don't care, because they have already answered the first question, why is she single? I have known this girl. She's always been a nice girl. We've lived together. I saw her serving in church. So it's somebody who was your history. And if you ask many single mothers,
but that's just one guy who probably knows you. So that means all the guys we've seen who've stepped up and became fathers of kids that they did not sire, we should look at them funny and start investigating what is their deep-seated emotional issue. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what to feel.
Walikupenda tangu zamani.
Na kama tumepatana saizi, kwa sababu si lazima tupendane kutoka zamani.
Most of the time I've seen also, I'm not saying that that's not a possibility, but I've seen...
It is a possibility, right?
It's a possibility, yes. And I've seen it's usually not... I came in and I found you with a child. We've always been, it's an acquaintance, we work together, we in the same church, I've known you. It's basically, I've had a long time to answer the question
of why.
Why are you single? Because if that one is settled,
yes,
has Yakali died, a man will actually sit down and say, you know what, has Yakali died? That's why I'm with her.
Okay. How many minutes do we have? Boaz, can we 2 minutes? Okay, cool. So there's what mimi nakwambia pole sana, by the way. You know the women are out here. Hi Mwikali, why is it like your guest is forgetting that a woman is made a single mom by a man? I already raised, did you hear me fight for that? I did fight this earlier, but then again, mimi ni host and ni mesukuma your agenda. But then, so the other one is, where are we? They are not single mothers. They have men in their lives and bring a provider, but the first man, they will always be there, will be always, they have an experience that men will always be there. I don't understand that one. A man refusing to marry a single mom has made another mom single somewhere else. Hi Mukali, a single mother is single for a reason, and for that reason makes them really protective. That is Daisy from Mombasa. I feel like this conversation can go on, and maybe we need to turn it the next time we come, because we have fathers who are single fathers,
yes,
who are raising their children by themselves. What about them? Is it okay for me to walk into that? Is it a perfect situation for me to walk in and be like, I will raise your son, your daughter for you, even when they do not call me mom, or when they say, "We si mama yangu sta kusikiza." So we'll flip it. Next time, our time is up.
Oh,
this was fire.
You'll be amazed. Even single
dad next week
don't want to get with single mom. You might think this is the reason.
Wacha tusianze saizi time. Wacha kabisa. Social media handles, Odada.
My social media handle is the Marriage Counselor 254, Facebook, the Marriage Counselor 254, Instagram. For marriage and counseling, or guidance and counseling relationship is concerned, you can holler at your boy, 0722441511, 0733756611.
And I need to sip some water if we're not going to continue this conversation during this very short commercial break. Don't go too far. We're coming back with Fitness Circle.